Meghan Markle's father, Thomas Markle, reveals he kept notes secret 4 months and never intended to share it. The Duchess of Sussex's estranged father has told how he kept her controversial letter secret for 6 months, never intending to make it public, but he felt he was forced to release some of the details when a friend misrepresented its contents to an American magazine. Thomas Markle received the handwritten 5-page missive via FedEx from Meghan's Los Angeles business manager Andrew Meyer in August 2018. Deeply hurt, he vowed to keep it private. It would have remained a secret had its existence not been revealed by an unnamed longtime friend of Meghan's in a glowing article in America's People magazine about the Duchess in February. Meghan's friend portrayed the letter as loving and conciliatory, saying after the wedding, she wrote him a letter. She's like, "Dad, I'm so heartbroken. I love you. I have one father. Please stop victimizing me through the media so we can repair our relationship." At the time, it was widely speculated that Meghan had perhaps authorized a friend to brief the magazine, something neither she nor the palace have denied. What is certain is that Mr. Markle viewed the letter very differently, saying it had made no attempt to heal their rift and felt more like a final farewell. Last night, retired Hollywood lighting director Mr. Markle, 75, spoke for the first time since his daughter issued her writ against his newspaper for publishing parts of the letter. He said, "I decided to release parts of the letter because of the article from Meghan's friends in People magazine. I've decided to defend myself. I only released parts of the letter because other parts were so painful. The letter didn't seem loving to me. I found it hurtful." He previously told this newspaper the letter was presented in a way that vilified me and wasn't true. It was presented as a reaching out and writing a loving letter in the hope of healing the rift. But the letter isn't like that at all. I have the right to defend myself. Mr. Markle, who lives in Rosarito in Mexico, said he was devastated when the existence of the letter was made public. He's also angered by false claims that he asked for and received payment for releasing parts of the letter. Furthermore, Markle only learned through People magazine that his daughter had received a letter he had sent in response to hers. Until then, he was left wondering if she had read it. Prince Harry last week issued a searing statement announcing his wife was suing the newspaper and launched a withering attack on the British press, describing coverage of Meghan Markle as bullying. He claimed the couple had been hit by relentless propaganda, adding, "I lost my mother and now I watch my wife falling victim to the same powerful forces." The announcement of the lawsuit on Tuesday overshadowed the end of the Sussex's highly successful 10-day tour of Africa. Harry was criticized for the timing of the statement, and it was reported that advisors have warned it would push the tour off the front pages. Neither Sarah Latham, the couple's communications secretary, nor Samantha Cohen, their private secretary, is believed to have any input into the statement, and there was speculation Harry had not consulted Buckingham Palace, Prince Charles, nor Prince William beforehand. There was reportedly puzzlement among officials that the statement was released before the end of the government-funded tour. Engagements such as the couple's meeting with the President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa received far less coverage because of it. Ken Waff, who served as Princess Diana's bodyguard, called the statement a monumental misjudgment, while Good Morning Britain's Piers Morgan, a columnist for this newspaper, called the rant hysterical over the top, saying Harry had petrol-bombed positive press coverage of the tour. Mr. Markle is particularly upset Meghan's friends used the People magazine article to misinterpret something he wrote in his letter of response to his daughter, in which he suggested he and Meghan should pose for a press photo together. Meghan's anonymous friend is quoted in the magazine saying he'd write a really long letter in return, and he closes it by requesting a photo of her, and she feels like that's the opposite of what I'm saying. I'm telling you I don't want to communicate through the media, and you're asking me to communicate through the media. Did you hear anything I said? It's almost like they are passing ships. He knows how to get in touch with her. Her telephone number hasn't changed. He's never called. He's never texted. Mr. Markle insists he suggested the photo as a way of showing the world they could be friends again, and described his daughter's interpretation as a tragic misunderstanding. When Doria, Meghan's mother, was photographed with Meghan and Harry for the first time, it showed she was part of the family. I don't want a picture for any other reason than if we show harmony, then the press will back off. It was also falsely stated that he never tried to contact Meghan after a wedding. Mr. Markle showed this newspaper text proving he had subsequently attempted to contact his daughter multiple times on the only number he has for her, a number from which both she and Prince Harry texted him in the run-up to the wedding. He called that number in the presence of a reporter from the MOS, but an automatic voice recording said the line was restricted or unavailable. Mr. Markle was deeply hurt. His daughter didn't use her letter to inquire how he was doing after his heart attacks. There was no loving message in there, nothing asking about my health, nothing from her saying, let's get together and heal our differences. When I opened the letter, I was hoping that it was the olive branch I had longed for. I was expecting something would be a pathway to reconciliation. Instead, it was deeply hurtful. I was so devastated that I couldn't show it to anyone, and never would have, had not been for the People magazine piece, which meant I had to release potions to defend myself. Mr. Markle still hopes a reconciliation with his daughter is possible. I don't recognize the person who wrote the letter, but I still love my daughter. All it would take is one phone call, and most of this craziness would stop. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the couple who, despite their immense wealth and influence, didn't seem to catch a break with the masses, finally caught one. Their recent tour in Africa was by royal standards a big hit, as one Alice put it, speaking to 9 News Australia about the pair's travels in South Africa and Botswana, among other nations. Harry and Meghan don't meet people with a handshake. They go in for the hug every time. So it went that in Africa they were able to harness their unconventionally warm and casual style in a way that pleased the press and royal insiders both. That is, until news of this suing was made public regarding the former. We now know that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have filed claims against the publisher of the Daily Mail and the Mail on Sunday in response to what Harry characterizes as extremely cruel treatment of his wife, in particular its decision to publish the contents of a private letter Markle wrote to her estranged father Thomas Markle. In Harry's own words, from an unusually frank statement he read from an unusually frank statement he released to the public. This particular legal action hinges on one incident in a long and disturbing pattern of behavior by the British tabloid media. The contents of a private letter were published unlawfully in an intentionally destructive manner to manipulate you, the reader, and further divisive agenda of the media group in question. I've seen what happens when someone I love is commoditized to the point that they're no longer treated or seen as a real person. I lost my mother and now watch my wife falling victim to the same powerful forces. Most royal observers and members of the public are choosing to focus on that last bit in the above statement. Harry's drawing parallels between the tabloids' hounding of his late mother, Princess Diana, and the hounding of his wife. But if you really want to understand why the Duke and Duchess have such a uniquely rough time with the media, it's the former issue, the latter that is vital. Markle and her father are estranged, but this hasn't stopped Thomas Markle from having a negative impact on his daughter's life. TM is a serial contributor to the tabloids. Prior to Harry and Meghan's wedding, he posed for a series of staged tabloid photos. He's also a favorite subject of the broadcaster Piers Morgan, a man who appears to derive great pleasure insulting Meghan on television. But not only has Meghan Markle spoken to Morgan in the press, earlier this year he shared a personal letter penned by his daughter, the letter at the heart of the lawsuit with the Mail. on Sunday, a letter in which the Duchess expresses sorrow about her father's press appearances. What kind of dad does that his health is poor? It doesn't even matter that he's technically in the right, and Meghan has been unduly harsh in her treatment of him, because no reasonable, well-intentioned man shares personal information about his kid with tabloid journalists and speaks with a broadcaster who makes a living lambasting her. But despite the deep hurt caused by Thomas Markle's behavior, members of the tabloid press appear to take his side, choosing to believe that the Duchess is selfish and uncaring. There is a strange appetite in the UK for tabloid journalism that passes judgment on the Duchess because she is distant herself from her dad. And it's this judgment, I'm guessing, that is most hurtful to her, as it calls into question the quality of her character rather than her clothes or her commitment to the royal protocol. Family estrangement is not superficial, it's devastating, and it's complicated, yet